Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamassu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vitvaram. In the last session, at the beginning of chapter 18, we saw it is about renunciation, the final wisdom imparted by Lord Krishna. Do we have the freedom to renounce? If liberation or freedom can be obtained only through renunciation, then why should one perform duties of life? If liberation is life's goal, then what interest anyone would have to fulfill social and family responsibilities? The primary question in Arjuna's mind was not about renunciation. It's about the discussion with Krishna is about confusion about duty, dharma sammoha. So engaging in worldly duties, does it lead to renunciation? And how? Can anyone take directly to renunciation without doing the duties of life? So these are the questions that would arise in anybody's mind, because the Upanishads pretty much declare Tyagena eke amrtatva manashuhu. By Tyaga alone, one can obtain the amrtatvam, immortality. But Gita is a practical guide for people of the world, not only for renunciates. So Krishna, as a universal teacher, not a guru who is sitting in an isolated solitude teaching to selected few people who are ready to renounce the world and engage wholly, completely in meditation and realization of the highest truth. He, standing at the battlefield, advising Arjuna how to lead oneself to that renunciation, but not forsaking the duties. To renounce things is not to give them up, it is to acknowledge that all things go away. Renounce only your attachments. Everything else you have already renounced. If there is no attachment, there is no need to renounce. So this must be kept in mind while understanding the Gita. What is renunciation? This was the question of Arjuna. And what is abandonment, tyaga? Tell me the difference. So sannyasa, according to Gita, is giving up all desire-prompted actions, kamya karma, actions that are done for material possessions, actions that are for gaining names and position and name, power, etc. Actions that are for obtaining pleasures of the heaven after death. Whereas tyaga is abandonment of results of action, not action itself, but results. Result of actions which are prescribed in the scriptures and that are performed for the society or that are related to worship of God. So tyaga is performing action without the anxiety for results. This will be the perfect means to obtain the state of sannyas. In both, selfless action should not be given up. Otherwise, a renunciate will be a burden to the society, a parasite merely taking from the society and doesn't give back anything. Gurudev always said that the sannyasin has got a greater responsibility than anybody in the world. For he lives completely for the sake of others. Who among us, look around, who 100% lives for the world, not for an iota for oneself? You don't find. But if at all a person who is 100% available for the world throughout his life, such a person is a sannyasi himself. He is available for the world. He is available to work for the world. He may be a political personality and he has no personal agenda, let us say. Then he is considered as a sannyasin only because as far as he is concerned, I have nothing to gain from the world. All that I have is to give, give and give. Time, energy, everything. So, the test of progress is the amount of renunciation that one has attained. That is a true progress. All other progress that we think that we have been gaining, like in terms of material possessions, name, power, and then certain status in the world, more people appreciating, more people praising us, or more real estate and this and that, that is not progress really for an individual. For a country, it may be true. For the society in general, people are very busy with obtaining all these things. But true progress, if one wants to achieve in life, is how detached that person is while engaging in the world. He should be productive. He should be useful. He should be proactively engaging. The smallest act of kindness is worth more than grandest intention. Gurudev said both renunciation of action and performance of action lead to nirvana, liberation. But those performances of action is superior to renunciation of action. The action of today becomes the destiny of tomorrow. Three things that are said in Gita not to be given up: yajna, dhanam, and tapaha. Sacrifice, that are actions expressing gratitude to gods by offering all that one can afford. Social, that is charity, dhanam, actions of expressing love for the fellow beings, helping others. Then tapaha, austerity, actions to control inner urges caused by inherent tendencies, vasanas. Recognizing the presence of God, Ishvaraha, Jagat, the world, and Jiva, self, or as holy is important for enlightenment. Because what we have done to ourselves alone dies with us, and what we have done for others and the world remains and is immortal. So in our daily agenda, we must have a time allotted exclusively for the world, only for the world, without any selfish desire in that. When we start developing a conscious agenda for that, a program for that, a plan for being selfless, every day, it should not be done once in a while. Some people say, oh, once in a month I go there and do some social work or seva. Yes, you may do it for a social cause once in a month or once in a few months. But if we can bring it into a daily schedule, it's like working out. It cannot be done once in a month. Now, once in a month I go to the gym. That doesn't help you at all. A daily activity of doing some exercise or workout or daily diet, daily prayer, daily worship, daily meditation, all these alone can see you progressing. So as you are doing all these, take time to exclusively do something which is having total selflessness. And when we do that, we do see that part of our personality slowly start to enjoy the divinity that is within and without. When we say do it for others, not for a particular person per se, it is not towards a relative or kith and kin. No, somebody say, oh, I work so much for the family. That is attachment. There is a subtle recipient. You are subtly receiving something of selfish nature. Seva should be to an unknown person. Unknown cause, meaning a cause that is for everyone, not for a particular known person. Random act of kindness, what they say nowadays. That even little, a smallest act of kindness is worth more than a broad intention which has not become an action. So the process of renunciation, according to traditional teachers, is first the desire to become free oneself from the worldly entanglements, including endless cycle of birth and death. Then get the guidance from a spiritual teacher to know about how to free oneself, how to become detached, that need to be discovered. Engaging in action selflessly in the form of sacrifice, yajnadanam tapam, yajnadanam and tapa, without the anxiety for the results, thereby overcoming strong attachments and vasanas, and studying, seriously understanding the core nature of oneself, contemplating to make sure the doubts are cleared, and that would lead to the renunciation, especially renunciation of the desire prompted activities and slowly other things as well. So this is the agenda for life. So now coming to a new set of ideas here, attitude in renunciation of action. So Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita chapter 18 here, Sattvic attitude is detached from results and performing action as a duties for self-growth, family welfare, and service to the society. The result of this kind of a sattvic attitude is mind becomes calm, and a calm mind is available for contemplation. When we are only engaged in desire-prompted action, the mind is always anxious. And even if you sit for meditation, you will not be able to calm down easily. And even if you are for a short period of time quiet, within no time, the mind again becomes anxious about the next one you have to do. So sattvic attitude is in all actions, whether it is for one's own family one does, or for the society, or for even doing worship. There should be total detachment from what will happen, what will I get. That thought should be completely renounced. I don't need anything out of this. Rajas, on the other hand, is renouncing with fear that action is painful, exertion. Kaya klesha bhayat, Bhagavan Krishna says. As productive action needs self-effort. And any effort is pain. Any effort is exertion. So if a person renounces due to the fear that it causes a lot of exertion, so no result is achieved through that renunciation. So if a person is lying on the bed and not getting up, because getting up means effort, Doing action means effort. And meeting the challenges of daily life is an effort. If one is not ready for it, then what progress you think that person will have? Neither a material progress, much less it would be, nor there is no spiritual progress for sure. His physical body itself becomes a burden for him. So, but on the tamas is non-performance duties out of delusion, lack of clarity, and merely imitating others. There are many people who take to renunciation just because it gives a status for them in the society. Udara nimittam bahukruta Bhagavan Shankaracharya would say, for the sake of filling the belly, putting an external attire as a renunciate. He will become, the result of that is he will become only a parasite. He's wasting one's own life on earth. He's no better than any other an animal or anything, or animal at least are useful. When they die, their skin can be used. Or even the plants and other things are constantly giving it to us. They are not waste. But human being, after his death, what is the use? His body is useful. Anything is useful. And if he has lived a very unhealthy life, even the organs that he may have, probably he wants to, even if somebody takes away his organs, it's not useful for anybody. He's destroyed it while living itself. So this is to be understood. Sattvic attitude is the best, where every action undertaken, whether at workplace or at work, at home, or for the society, let us recognize that anxiety for results and the idea that I am the doer is cause for bondage. So don't wait until you are ready to take action. Instead, take action to be ready. Such a wonderful statement. Don't wait. So many people say, oh, let the waves in the ocean settle down and then I will go for a swim. Never would happen. Will the waves ever be quiet? Will there be ocean without waves for you to jump into it? The world will be what it is, always. You must get ready to do it. Take action and to be ready. So the first step towards progress should be from you, not from the world. Don't wait for it. So Arjuna's argument for not fighting the war involves a mixture of qualities of Rajas and Tamas. Because in the first chapter itself, he says, Yadimam apratikaram ashastram shastrapanayah dardarashtra rane hanyuhu tanme kshemataram bhavet. I feel that it is best if we allow the Kauravas to kill us in the war while we remain without weapons and do not fight. So this is the attitude of Arjun. This is a tamasic attitude. I will not fight. Even if the Kauravas are ready to come and kill us, we will not take weapon in our hand. Let them kill. Because if they are desirous of gaining the kingdom by killing us, let them do so. I do not want any kingdom. I do not want to kill anybody. I do not want to fight the war. This was the predicament of Arjun, for which Krishna had to advise him. Hey, this is not the right attitude of a Kshatriya. When we look at our own life also, when challenges come to our life, when we run away from it, will we ever be able to face any more challenges in our life? Running away from or keeping ourselves away from challenges, would it anyway lead to any progress, whether spiritually or even socially, economically? You as the youngsters, face the challenges. If what after all will happen? Failure. So what? Learn and do better next time. And then he also says that, oh, I see bad omens. Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava naja shreyo anupashyami hatva swajanamahave. I see only bad omens everywhere. I do not see any goodness as a result of killing our own people in the war. Gandivam samsrade hastad tvakchaiva paridahyate. The Gandiva, the very bow is falling away from my hand. The whole body is shaking. All this. Why? Fear. That's what Rajas is. Fear. Rajas in the sense that renunciation out of Rajas. That's what I'm talking about. Rajas is action, no doubt. But Rajasic attitude toward renunciation is, oh, I don't want to go through any pain of doing anything as an effort. So that is the reason why Arjuna's attitude towards renunciation is mixed with Rajas and Tamas. And Bhagavan Krishna had to positively engage him by saying, do the same thing which you have been doing, but change your attitude. Do not think you are doing it for yourself. Do not think you are having a personal agenda in this war. Look at the situation, how Kauravas are doing atrocities, misrule, arajakam it is called. That's what they are trying to achieve out of defeating you and then ruling the kingdom with the wrong policies, destroying the integrity of the society, destroying the culture. So engage in the world, engage in the battlefield with a very clear sattvic attitude. Sattvic Tyagi is one who from moment to moment abandons the animal whisperings in himself and following diligently the melody of the soul. Beautifully put by Swami Chinmayananda. He is aware of the melody of the soul. I as an individual, I as a jiva is pure, divine, immaculate, clean, sattvic. Even as I engage in this world, that does not pollute me at all. On the other hand, if I listen to my mind, which is filled with passions and desires and tendencies of the past, obviously, Rajasic and Tamasic tendency will only be on the increase. So now it's interesting. Arjuna did not want to fight out of fear, out of the anxiety about losing one's name, as well as losing one's own people. And he gave many different reasons for not fighting. Now, that was in the first chapter. Now, almost we have at the 18th chapter. In the 18th chapter, Sri Krishna reiterates the point that do not stop your performing your duty. Now, let us understand this concept a little more carefully. Active resistance is the first thing that we do in life whenever we meet a challenge. When we meet challenges in life, if we get agitated, enraged, and angry, our resistance will be violent, Rajas. The anxiety wells up while performing as well as while we wait for the results. So when we meet any unpleasant situation, let us say somebody is criticizing, ridiculing, or what you have done is being, not appreciated by your boss or your elders or your parents or the people around you, you are being, ridiculed, dishonored, disrespected, or not even noticed. You feel so agitated, enraged. And so, or even when we are looking forward to a project to be completed and you have worked hard, and so there is a constant anxiety. Will it happen? Will it happen? Will I get what I want? So this kind of active resistance situation is Rajas. So this is the normal behavior of everybody. What we find is the next one is passive non-resistance. When we decide not to face the challenges and allow the situation to overwhelm us, it is tamas. There will be no positive progress in life. So we do either active non-resistance in the form of rajas or passive non-resistance. Don't take it up at all. Walk away from the situation. Don't face it. Hide yourself. Go away. So many people think renunciation is of this kind, passive non-resistance. Just don't do anything about it. Just allow it to happen. So these two are not the one which Bhagavan Krishna wants us to practice. We must do what is known as passive resistance. This is the method adopted by Mahatma Gandhi during the fight against the British for freedom of India. He neither became violent or angry, nor he allowed the prevailing situation to continue. He voiced against the government and adopted non-cooperation called Satya Agraha. This is something which he derived from Gita. He learned it from it. What is Krishna saying to Arjuna? Fight with anger or don't fight and run away? No, both are not accepted. Neither not fighting is accepted nor fighting with anger and frustration violently. No. Fight, but that is resist, but be passive. What is that? Mahatma Gandhi said that I will not take the weapons in my hand. So that is very similar to what Arjuna said. I won't take weapons in my hand. But at the same time, he said that I will allow the Kauravas to come and attack us. But Gandhi did not do that. While I do not take weapons in my hand, which is called ahimsa, I will not positively hurt anybody. At the same time, I will resist the existing situation. That is called agraha of satyam. What is correct? What is moral? What is ethical? What is lawful? Because he being a lawyer, he knows any kind of such arrogant or atrocious policies and laws put by the British government on the Indians, he says, I will resist it. No, that is not right. It is inhuman. They even put a tax on salt. Salt is available in the water and then anybody can make salt. And it is available as a natural resource. And if somebody says, if you take salt from the water, I'll put tax on it. How and why? So he went ahead and said that, no, we will do it. We will take salt out of the water. Then British says, we will attack you. You attack. I will not resist. It's very interesting. So he said, Satyagraha largely appears to be a public as civil disobedience, or civil resistance. It is civil in the sense that it is not criminal. The civil resistor considers certain laws to be unjust as to render obedience to them is dishonor. The resistor, openly and civilly breaks them and quietly suffers the penalty for their breach. That is his method. What you are putting as the tax or the policy is not acceptable to me. It is inhuman. You are not to make us as a slave. I will resist. But I will not take weapon in my hand to attack you. It's interesting that Mahatma Gandhi used this method to challenge the British. British could not do much to avoid this, because he would not keep quiet. If you put him in the jail, he will sit down and read Gita and write commentaries. If you put him outside, start resistance. They had trouble with him. If he's inside, outside people will agitate. If he's outside, he will agitate. Agitate means he will start his work. Very interesting. So what it means is that I silently protest against your hegemony. Hegemony means overruling us, overpowering us. I will silently resist, meaning I will not cooperate because I know this law is not correct. So now, again, coming back to the point of renunciation here again, for us to understand properly, renunciation is not getting away from the world. Renunciation is not an escapism. It is in the form of detaching oneself from the anxiety and dependence on the world, overly depending on the world, because the senses and mind constantly want to be entertained. They want to indulge. Knowing the nature of the senses and the mind, internally you non-cooperate, like the way he did. I don't cooperate with you, my dear mind. I will not cooperate with you, my dear senses, because I know you are not doing the right thing. While I will engage in the world, but not according to your whims, according to your dictates, your commandments. No, I will not. So within you, you do the satyagraha. Within you, you can hold on to the truth. I know who I am divine, I am pure, I am clean, I am conscious. And anything that comes to disturb this, I will resist. I am peaceful. I am peaceful within myself, and any situation around me that would come to disturb that, I will not cooperate. I'm not angry or upset or violent, but I won't cooperate. Quietly, peacefully, I won't cooperate. That, it is interesting when you understand the concept. Such a person would become an inspiration for others. He's very active in the world, but absolutely quiet within himself. So the equanimity is the sattvic attribute. To continuously retain sattva quality is itself a grand spiritual practice. Now, why it is so? It requires the attitude of equanimity. So that is not having any negative feeling or disinterest while engaging in actions prescribed by the scriptures like Vedas, such as rituals and worship of gods, that they may result in gaining merits or obtaining heavens, etc. When you are engaging in those activities which you don't need to perform because it is only for the sake of obtaining some merits, but there is no negative feeling about it. There is no bitterness about it. There is no unhappiness about it. Okay, let me engage in. As per the tradition, as per the religious need, I will do that. There is no active resistance for that. There's no need to become unhappy about it. Let us say that you are invited to go to a marriage or go to a party where people are talking about all sorts of things, politics and economics, and then he did that, she did that, that is not right, this is not. There is no negativity from your mind. There is no bitterness. There is no hatred. Okay. That is how people are. Not to judge also. That is how the world is. This is the nature of the world to, get, busy with these things. Watch it carefully, attentively, quietly, smilingly, and not get agitated about it. Very often people say, Swamiji, I don't want to be in that kind of a people. That means you are weak. Only a weakling runs away. Only a weak heart does not take these kind of situations. A strong person within, a person who has good immunity within, will be with the community. He will not stay away from it. Not feeling thrilled in doing duties that may result in purity of mind, which is required for study and contemplation. Not getting elated. See, I am able to do this quietly, study and meditate and do sadhana, do japa. How great it is. No. Don't feel great about it. Don't feel proud about it. Don't feel thrilled about it. Even in those activities which will lead to further progress in spirituality, in your spiritual life, have the attitude of, okay, this is to be done, I'm doing it. And what it will result in, let it happen. I'm not anxious about it. Why is it not happening? No. When you see somebody else sitting and quietly meditating, and you say, I wish I can do that way. You do not know what is going on in his mind. So you quietly do what you need to do and silently engage. Don't feel too anxious or too thrilled, too proud, too accomplished. No. Everybody is on the way towards the perfection only. Some are faster, some are slow, some have not started even. Doesn't matter. So how this is accomplished? How this can be accomplished? What is to be, the equanimity? How is it to be done? Gurudev says very clearly that we need to, first of all, understand the field of activity. Where the action needs to be done and when it needs to be done. Knowing the field of action is very important, because accordingly you should prepare yourself. Do not engage in an action about which you have no plan. I mean, sometimes the actions may appear in front of you suddenly to be taken up. You may probably do it, but in general, plan out your action, work out your plan. Gurudev used to say, engage with a mind which knows exactly when it is to be done and where it is to be done, what are the things that are necessary. The next one he says is that relationship with the world. Why am I doing this? How to handle that situation and what is the purpose of engaging in that action? That the reason why you are doing must be clear in your mind. Don't get confused while engaging in that. Suddenly don't ask while in the middle of action. This is what happened with Arjun, right? Before he came to the war, he had a good reason. After he came and looked at the people, he got confused, because he did not think before whom he is fighting with. So, therefore, why? Purpose. Then the nature of the mind and senses while interacting with the world. How to engage in this world? Should I get too involved? Should I get too engrossed in the activity? Or a part of me watching me while I'm engaging in the world? Very often, you should take a little you have to take a little, back seat once in a while and watch yourself doing what you're doing. A part of you slowly should become a sakshi. I have explained to this before to you also, but I'm just reminding you. Keeping a part of you as a sakshi is a very, very important spiritual practice. It is like a person who is flying an aircraft, a pilot. While up in the sky, 30,000 feet above the sea, above sea level, he doesn't have anything else to look at. Nothing is outside. When he looks at it, there's nothing. It's only sky. What is he looking at then? He's looking at the monitor, the controls. The controls which is in front of him is the only thing he can depend upon, and some amount of ground control, which he listens once in a while he is passing by other airports. They will tell you where any other airport, any other flight is nearby, and whether he has to go up or down, and all those things. But most of the time, he is in front of his panel, watching it. In the same way, the world need not tell you what need you do, what you should do, how best you can do, what discipline you should have. You should have a monitor in front of you, none other than your own mind, monitoring yourself. Your own part of your own mind, maybe you call it as buddhi or intellect, which has a wisdom, which has the stability, which has the focus, watching the behavior of the senses and the mind, including the speech. Later on, Krishna will talk about that in this very chapter. Be watchful. Gurudev said, best watch you can wear is to be watchful about yourself. So, how am I doing? How are my senses? How is my mind while engaging in the action? And also, finally, silent divine nature of the self, being aware of that, residing within oneself. Never lose attention of that. I am divine, I am immortal, I am changeless, I am pure, I am peaceful. Wherever I am, that is my real nature, that is real me. So stand there and watch. Stand there and look at what is happening. Always be aware of that. Never get carried away by anything else. So who is doing the action here? Mind, senses, buddhi, ahankar, they are engaging in action, no doubt. That is what is there. That is their field of engagement. So I, as the self, I'm not the doer. I'm not the one who is enjoying what I'm doing. I'm not the one who is anxious about what is going to happen. I am just being present for my senses and the mind to become active. So that awareness about one's own self. So field of activity, relationship with the world, that is purpose. How am I doing with my senses and the mind? And who am I? Where, why, how, who? So this needs to be maintained. That is what is called staying equanimous, sattvic attitude. Gurudev said, he stands as a rock, ever at ease, and watches with an unbroken balance of vision the waves of happenings rising and falling all around him. He is independent of the world of situations. That is the inspiration we should have. Stand like a rock, not behave like a rock, but stand like a rock. The waves of situation around coming up, but not affected by that. Steady, watchful, having the right vision. Continuing, there are expected quandaries of life, various problems that we may face while engaging in the world. So here, Gurudev said, action is the signature of life. No one in this world can live without doing an action. As long as we live in the body, giving up action is not possible. Nahi deha brada shakyam. It is not possible for a person who is embodied. Karmani tyaktum asheshatah. Tyaktum karmani asheshatah. Na shakyam deha brata. So long as the physical body is there, it is not possible for anyone to give up all actions. Why it is so? Why do you think? Even to maintain this physical body, we need to act. Don't you have to eat? Don't you have to breathe? Don't you have to walk? Don't you have to drink? Don't you have to sleep? Even to physical body, even if a person is staying far away in a lonely cave in Himalayas, body needs to be taken care. He needs to eat, even if he's eating fruits and roots or some water and simple thing, but he has to get up and do it. He has to go for a nature's call. He has to take a bath. He has to sleep. So physical body, to maintain even that bare maintenance of the body, one has to engage in action. So we live in an interdependent world. When we are eating food, understand there are people who worked for it. And that's why you are having food on the table. So you are gaining from somebody's action. It is natural that, or it is correct on your part, that you also engage in action that will benefit others. You cannot be always a recipient. You should also become a producer. You should also become a person who contributes. Gurudev's and Gita itself, he says, one who does not do is a thief, not a chief. He's a thief only. He's just taking from the world and not giving back. So what we do and also what we don't do affect others around us. What we do, what we say, how we behave affect others. And what we don't do also affect others. What we are supposed to do if we don't do. Let us say I came and used your house for a while, when you are away. Upon your request, I stayed there and I put all trash all over the place and go away. Not clearing the trash will affect you. When next time when you, no, I'm not going to give it to you. Why? Because you leave all trash here, you don't even clean it up. Many people do that when they come to use our facility here in ashram. We have to give them very clear instruction. When you leave, it should be cleaner than when you got it. Don't leave trash here. Clean up and go. So what we don't do also affects others. When you are supposed to give your opinion about a situation and you keep quiet, you keep on, keeping everything close to your own heart and you never say anything, then people say, why are everyone asking him? You are useless. So you have to give your viewpoint. Whether it is accepted by others or not is a secondary, but you can say what you want to say. In any situation, what you have to do, you should do it. And not doing that will affect. And what you are doing positively, proactively also would affect others. So we are living in an interdependent world. We are not living in a isolated place, or we are not living in a forest where nobody is there. We are in the society. We are part and parcel of the community. So giving up action as such while living in the body is not possible. And so the solution for how to handle this is restructure the attitude towards what happens to you in your life. Anything that you do has got three results: good, bad, indifferent. In other words, what you do results in failures and misunderstanding. Let us say that whatever you did, what you have been doing, does not succeed very well. Many people get depressed and dejected because of this. Whatever I do, it never happens. Whatever I do is only a failure. So what you should be doing at that point? No one can decide the result of one's own actions, as every action depends on many unpredictable situations and participation of many people. Gurudev always said, do the best and leave the rest. Don't react. Do your best. That is on your part. You have to do that. And understand every action has got so many different factors in influencing the result. So if the result is not in favorable to you, it's not favorable to you, then don't react to that. Keep doing what you can do, and learn from every situation when it becomes a failure. So do not become negative. What you do results in improvement and progress. Let us say, on the other hand, you get the good results out of your action. Then growth is work in progress. Never stop in moving towards your inner freedom. External success should not go to your head. People praise, people congratulate you, glorify you, but don't stop. Keep going. This is only on the way. Okay, it is fine. When Mahatma Gandhi was told about the independence of the country, he was not there at the time to celebrate it. While in the middle of the night in 1947, August 15th, when the British flag was brought down and India's flag and the tricolor flag was raised up at the parliament in Delhi, middle of the night, where was he? In his own ashram, quietly sitting there meditating. So when people asked, are you not happy that the country has got the freedom? He smiled and said, country got the freedom, not me. I'm still working for that. External success doesn't mean you are great. Your greatness comes in how renounced you are. I'm still working on my detachment. Not that I am unhappy or anything. I am happy that people have become free. But true freedom is yet to be achieved from within by everyone. I'm working on it. That was his statement. So, work in progress constantly. Perfection needs a great amount of focus. So what you do results in a mixture of failure and some success. Then improve to make it better next time. Nothing better happens without bringing qualitative change in your performance. Qualitative change. Today's world is only about quantity. Quality has taken a back seat long time back. We get imported things from other part of the world. Quality is so poor, therefore it is cheap. And it will just work. It is useful for a few days or few months. After that, it collapses. It destroyed. We are only working on a stopgap arrangement. We are not looking for a long-lasting, quality products. Earlier, we were very conscious of quality. I mean, quality always requires certain amount of extra cost is involved, effort is involved, research is involved, and therefore it will be not easily available. But today's world, people are not interested in that. Quick, anything quick, temporarily available for fast consumption. But our life should not be like that. We should become conscious of quality. Don't insist quality from others. Keep on insisting quality from others, you will get depressed only. What you do should be of the best quality. Best of your ability should be put forth. And when you do that, naturally the world will follow you, because you are doing your best, and anything that would come to you will also be the best. And if you do a shabby job of everything, then obviously the world will also offer that only to you. So become aware of that. It's Guruji, Swami Tejamanji, who said, perfection is a process of constant improvement. It does not suddenly come into your life. It requires you to consistently work on it. Let us see more of the ideas in the next class. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkhabhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.